In 2024, the FDA issued a final rule which significantly updated the requirements for medical device quality management systems. That rule transitioned what we call the QSR, or Quality System Regulation, into the QMSR, the Quality Management System Regulation. The goal of this update was to better align with the ISO standard ISO 13485. Now, although the FDA is using ISO 13485 as the backbone of the new requirement, it is important to note that several components of 21 CFR Part 820 are still applicable. In addition to ISO 13485, manufacturers should also be aware that aspects of ISO 9001, specifically the terminology and definitions found in Clause 3, are also referenced within ISO 13485. So, as a manufacturer, it's important to note that when you're updating your references, you need to ensure that you're also updating your references to the ISO 9001 definitions. You should also verify going through that you're using the correct terminology. Another important thing that manufacturers should note is that if you were exempt from design controls under the former QSR as a Class 1 device, you were still exempt under the QMSR, and that's even though 13485 has a requirement for medical device files. The FDA has granted the same exemption that existed previously. However, this update does not exempt the manufacturers of Class 1 devices that were previously required by regulation to have a device file. So as previously mentioned, even though ISO 13485 is the driving factor behind this update, aspects of the original regulations are still in implementation. Manufacturers should take note that in instances where ISO 13485 is not explicit enough, such as Clause 7.5.8, which pertains to identification, manufacturers will still want to reference Part 830 for UDI, Unique Device Identification. Another example this applies to is Clause 7.5.9, Traceability. Again, manufacturers are going to want to reference Part 821 for medical device tracking to supplement where the ISO standard does not provide enough adequate information to comply with FDA's expectations. I like to think of this as a best of both worlds scenario, creating interplay between the two different quality system requirements. It's definitely not just a complete adoption of 13485, and manufacturers certainly can't certify to it and leave it at that. Manufacturers are still going to have to reference some of the original regulations to supplement where 13485 doesn't explicitly give the information necessary to comply with FDA's requirements. So, in addition to the QMSR going live, as expected on February 2nd, the FDA stopped using the old Quality System Inspection Technique, which was otherwise known as the QSIT document, for device inspections, and instead, they began utilizing the inspection process under 7382.850, Inspection of Medical Device Manufacturers. As of now, medical device manufacturers who are still referencing the old QSIT document should stop and take a look at the document that's on FDA's website on how to conduct inspections going forward. This new inspection technique represents a significant shift in FDA inspections, moving away from the compartmentalized QSIT approach towards a total product lifecycle method. Now, under this change, FDA investigators are required to integrate post-market surveillance and lifecycle data into all aspects of their investigation. So what this really means is that things like complaint trends, medical device reports, recall trending patterns, servicing records, and supplier issues are no longer going to be reviewed in isolation. Instead, they're going to be treated as critical inputs that must actively inform design changes and other quality decisions across your organization. Now, if you are already following ISO 13485 or MedSAP, then this change is not as significant. But for those manufacturers who were only complying with 820, this is going to be a significant change moving forward. The new framework sets up risk management as the link that ties the various QMS areas together. FDA investigators will audit using a risk-based sampling approach while using real-time data to verify that these systems are both functional and adaptive to real-time needs. This will create a significantly higher standard for manufacturers who are now going to be required to demonstrate that their systems are not merely documentation only or static after the devices have been approved. The FDA expects to see a living dynamic system that will continuously detect real-world performance, And this is going to include things such as field safety issues or supplier failures. And the expectation is that manufacturers respond with rapid real-time improvements throughout the device's lifecycle when needed. So in addition to the inspection document update, MedSAP also released their updated audit approach, which is now on version 10. For those who are unaware, the updated MedSAP documents have been moved from FDA's site to the new MedSAP website, which is now managed by the Australia Therapeutic Goods Administration instead of the FDA. So there's a chance you can still find some of the older audit approach documents for MedSAP on FDA's website, but moving forward, manufacturers should pull those documents from the MedSAP global website to ensure that they have the most new and updated documents.